Okay, hello guys, and welcome to another play along video. It's been a few months since I last said that, but it's nice to say it again. Nice to be back. And if you're new to the series, the way this works is that there'll be three challenge links in the description that you can play. There will be you don't really need a GeoGuessr Pro account or anything. You can just play it. So you can go ahead, play the link, and then you can come and watch my perspective, and then I will sort of explain my thought process, reasoning, any tips or clues that I know, and that way it can maybe help you get better at the game. If you have any tips for me, then you can leave them in the comments, and that way we can all improve at the game. Um, I did take a bit of a break from the series. It was kind of unplanned and kind of, I don't know. um, but I wanted to take a break for a couple of reasons. First one of them being that the play-alongs were getting a bit repetitive for me, and I feel like I was just recording the same thing over and over. Um, so I needed a bit of a break because I'd recorded like so many play-alongs, mainly because I was traveling quite a bit, and because of that I was like pre-recording stuff, so it was a bit too much. And then second reason is that I felt like I wasn't really spending enough time trying to get better at the game. And in the past few months, there's just been so much information that has been discovered and made public in in the form of documents and that sort of stuff. So there are new metas, there are new clues for region guessing in different countries, that sort of stuff. So yeah, the knowledge base is expanding at like a crazy rate, and I feel like I needed to take a step back, try to learn some new things for myself as well, um, and that way I can also provide better tips, and then I also feel like I feel like I'm making better guesses than I was before. Like earlier, Indonesia and Japan, my guesses used to be so bad, I had no idea. But I've spent some time trying to learn them. Of course, I'm still nowhere near good enough at them. And there's still so much new information that I still need to learn. Um, but I'm trying to learn things a bit step by step, and yeah, hopefully over the next few play-alongs, you'll you'll maybe notice that there are more things that I know, and hopefully I can make some better guesses as well to uh, show for it. Anyway, I'm rambling on too much. Let's get into this. Since we are coming back from a pretty large hiatus, just start off simple. Three maps, no moving, all world maps, and let's see how it goes. So let's start off today with a community world and see how we do. So challenge link in the description. Go ahead and play it. And hopefully, at this point in the video, you're here to watch my perspective. So, actually, before I get into it, I think I have my head streak enabled. Let me turn that off and turn on my state streak because let's see how many states I can get correct this time, or provinces or whatever. So, this is what we have. This is a pretty straightforward round, and there are well, the biggest hint here is these snow poles or bollards. I'm not really sure what you want to call them here, um, but these are typical bollards you find in Andorra. They're pretty tall. They've got so many different colors and stuff. So that itself should instantly tell you that you are in Andorra. You don't have to worry about any other thing. But yeah, if you're relying on other hints, then the sun is in the south, so you're in the northern hemisphere. You have this antenna on the car. This is a European antenna. Um, it's like you do get antennas in some other countries, but then they are usually short and stubby, So this is like a decently long antenna. So usually you'll get that excuse me, in Europe. Um, I mean, just looking at the landscape also, this looks way more European, I'd say. Um, you have these sort of coniferous trees and these mountains. So I think you can safely assume that you're somewhere in like this part of the country. Because it doesn't look super southern Mediterranean, it doesn't look pretty northern either because the trees are, kind of alpine, not really like the birch trees you'd get up north. So you have that, and then you have the guardrail here, which has a yellow reflector on it, and a yellow reflector you'll get only in Spain and Andorra. So that's where you get there, and then in Spain, like the northern region is mountainous and has these sort of trees, so northern Spain is a perfectly reasonable guess as well. But with these things here, it should be Andorra. We are somewhere on a mountain road, and um, yeah, I'm not exactly sure where this is, but let's just click somewhere and see. Oh, it's a white road. Okay, that that makes sense. Another thing that I wanted to mention at the beginning of the video um, is that there is a new guide available for you to start learning the game and learning different countries. Earlier, I used to always link GeoHints in the description, but I think like I feel like GeoHints is more of a database, and what we have now is the Plunkett guide. So let me actually quickly show that. I know I'm like pausing in between the game, but I think it's worth it. So you can go to plunkett.net um, and go to the guide. Also, I'd recommend you to join the Discord if you haven't already, because there's a ton of cool stuff, documents, information to get better at the game in here. But now that we've also got a guide on Plunkett, and currently not all countries are ready yet, but one by one, countries are being added. So you already have some big countries like Canada, Argentina, US, not US, sorry, Australia. But you also have some smaller ones, Spain, Finland, Thailand, and then you also have some tiny ones like Andorra. That's what reminded me of this. And then you have a bunch of cool clues. You have some things to help identify the country, and then some clues to help guess within the country where it would be. So a lot of cool stuff. Definitely, I would recommend you to check this out. I'll link it in the description, of course. But yeah, sorry for that tangent, but I really wanted to address that. But yeah, anyway, let's get back into this. Here it's hard to avoid the car meta, but yeah, this is the car that you find in Kenya. The sun is sort of in the middle, so in these cases it's not really worth paying attention to the sun. I'd say as a rule of thumb, don't trust the sun if the sun is setting, if the sun is rising, if the sun is perfectly overhead, or if it's in one of the countries near the equator, it's not really worth trusting the sun in those cases. But anyway, here we are driving on the left and we have yellow middle lines, white outside lines. That's usually you'll find that in like South America, North America. So Brazil is a reasonable guess here, like let's say NMPZ. Brazil would make sense, but then we are driving on the left and we have these yellow plates, so that is indicative of Kenya. Um, Also, these poles I think are pretty common in Kenya, so plenty of clues. Let's see, where in Kenya do we go here? I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna click close to Nairobi. Oh, it was actually quite far west in Eldoret. Okay, let's move on to the next round. We have plenty of language. So already looking at this, I think it should be pretty clear that we are in Thailand. But we are also driving on the left, so that helps confirm it because the neighbors, Laos and Cambodia, both drive on the right. So you can safely not worry about that. This is a really cool temple though. Look at that. Look at the architecture. Oh my gosh. Um, Noodle soup with beef and pork. Okay. I'm vegetarian, so that doesn't sound very appetizing to me, but I'm sure the food there must be nice. But we also have this Thai pole here. You can see it's got holes at the bottom going all the way to the top. That's typical for Thailand and Laos. You can eliminate Cambodia that way as well. Voodoo. But yeah, anyway, it should be somewhere in Thailand. I'm not really sure where. We have a couple of palm trees. This is also very interesting, whatever that is. Um, See, the thing with Thailand is that in the peninsula you get a lot of like palm trees, oil palms, but here we don't really have that many. It's and the north is also like very mountainous, so it's probably just somewhere central, but I'm not really sure. Never mind. It's a flat part near Chiang Rai. Wat Rong Khun White Temple. I feel like that must be kind of famous because it shows up at this zoo. So maybe if you've been to Thailand or if you are a Thai person, maybe you know about that. Or maybe if you just I don't know, you could know about it in multiple ways. But anyway, let's go on to the next round. Sun looks like it's north, so we should be in the southern hemisphere. Although it is kind of setting, it feels like, but or maybe rising actually. But in this case, we should be in the southern hemisphere at least. We have a stubby antenna this time, which is what I was talking about earlier, which you can find outside Europe. Um, Now, this antenna can be a bit confusing, but what you have is this bollard here, and that bollard you will only find in New Zealand. Now, you can find sort of a similar looking bollard in like Australia, Turkey, that sort of stuff. But in New Zealand, you can clearly see like the red thing goes all the way to the edges of the bollard, so that's what makes it more unique. So when you see that bollard, you are 100% guaranteed to be in New Zealand. These sort of rolling hills, I'd say, are more common on the North Island, so I would go North Island, but I'm no New Zealand expert. This could be the Southern Island as well, maybe. As it was. See, this area here is so like hard to. I don't know. It's kind of hard to guess for me because it's such an interesting area. Like all of this part, west of it is very flat, and then you just have this little part with mountains. So it's very interesting. But anyway, let's move on to the next round. Um, this time again, the sun is in the north, so we are in the southern hemisphere. We have white middle lines and white outside lines, so that should eliminate South Africa because that uses yellow outside lines. And pretty much all of South America because they use yellow middle lines. Chile and Argentina can sometimes have yellow middle lines, but then this dirt is way too red for both of them. I mean, you can get red dirt up here, but then if you see these trees here, these trees are not not Argentinian at all. This is something that you very commonly will get in Australia, which is where we should be. Um, Also, you can see that sign, it's facing the left, so we're driving on the left. That's a good indication as well of Australia. Um, and yeah, we have these bollards as well. You can't really see them properly, but these are the Australian bollards. I mean, here you can sort of see it. This is the Australian bollard I was mentioning earlier. Um, but anyway, we are in Australia. See, now the color of this dirt makes me want to go Western Australia. But because it's like more brown, more red, but it's not a guarantee. So it could be like inland New South Wales or something. um See, that could be a yellow signpost, but it could also just be the sun that's shining that brightly. Yellow signpost would put us in Western Australia. We do have some beach there to our south, so that could maybe indicate that we are like close to. But does this? I know that Australia got a lot of new Gen 4 recently, and that makes it kind of hard hard to guess even more. But we should have water to our south, pretty much. And if it's New South Wales, then that doesn't really make sense to me. So I think, but this road looks a bit different, I think. I could be wrong though. Um, let's take a look at that again. It says Farello maybe, and Quaggy Beach or Owaggy Beach, something like that. I'm not sure. So can we see either of those anywhere? Probably not. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure where this is. I thought about this road, but I feel like that doesn't really look like this. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't even know if these roads have Gen 4, but I know there's some new Gen 4 in Western Australia, so maybe. Yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. That's generally where I was looking, right? I was looking along that road. So yeah, I guess it doesn't really say it, does it? I feel like I didn't see this Quaggy Beach. I feel like I zoomed in on this though. Maybe I might have like it might have appeared on my screen and I missed it probably. But hey, that's fine. We got fairly close. 2817. That's decent. That's decent. So well done if you beat me. I'm sure some of you did. But yeah, let's move on to the next game, which will be on an improved world. Whoops. Okay, let's see what we get in this game. Challenge link in the description. Go ahead and play it. And hopefully you're here to watch my perspective now. So let's see what we get. All right, we have a person walking, and we have this pole. So this is a Polish pole that you get in Poland because it's a Polish pole. Also, this A-frame pole is also the same. It's typically like concrete like this with holes in it. Um, Most of the times the holes don't go all the way to the bottom. In Hungary and Romania, you'll get holes that go all the way to the bottom, so that can kind of help you distinguish Hungarian poles from Polish poles. But yeah, that's one thing. You have language here, classic Polish language. You have the W. That W, I think, is only present in Polish out of all the Eastern European languages, or at least most of them. So if you see that, then you know it's Polish. And then you also have this architecture, which is sort of interesting. Um, I don't know, these sort of roofs that are just like inclined on both sides, I'd say are less common in Hungary, more common in Poland. Um, so that should also indicate Poland a bit more. But yeah, that's about it. Poland, I think, even as of today, is probably the hardest country to region guess. Well, maybe like certain parts of it, like the southern part has mountains, but there's really not that much knowledge about regional matters in Poland yet. So I clicked middle, and it was a bit more north. That's fine. Let's move on to the next round. Interesting. So we have this pole here that already gives you the country. But yeah, the sun is in the south, so we're in the northern hemisphere, and it's pretty mountainous. And then this pole that's here is found in Taiwan. You'll have black and yellow stripes that go all the way to the bottom, and they are diagonal. In South Korea, you'll also have black and yellow diagonal stripes, but they don't go all the way to the bottom. And in Japan, you'll also have black and yellow stripes, but they'll be vertical. So you can distinguish the three that way. And yeah, this should just be Taiwan somewhere in the mountains. So let's just guess. Okay, it was quite a bit south actually. But yeah, that's a bit hard to region guess. But let's move on to the next round. This time the sun is in the north, so we are in the southern hemisphere. And yeah, we have a white Google car and we are driving on the right. So you can already eliminate Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, all of these countries in the south. And you're pretty much left with South America because they're driving on the right. Now, in South America, a white middle line is usually Chile. You can sometimes get it in Argentina, but then I feel like it'll be dashed in the middle, like a dashed white middle line instead of a solid white middle line. So automatically you go to Chile. Um, but oh yeah, the white car. The white car you can find in South America in Chile, Peru, and Bolivia. And Peru and Bolivia look very different from this. There are pretty mountains, and the vegetation is very, very different in those two countries. So just based on the vegetation and mountains, you can sort of tell that you're in Argentina already. So you don't need the road lines. But yeah, you also have the signpost here. This green sort of sign is also very typical for Chile. So plenty of hints telling you the country. Um, Now, as to where to guess within the country, it's not always that easy, but pretty much above this point, everything is a desert, and you get pretty dry mountains sort of in this region. And the more south you go, the more extreme the weather gets, I guess, because max south is very close to Antarctica. So you get some really beautiful mountains and stuff all the way down here. But it's not, you don't have like crazy mountains and trees here. So you're sort of in this region between Temuco and sort of this area. Could even be a bit more south actually. Between Puerto Montt and Talca is where I'd say, just based on this vegetation and stuff. Um, I could try to line it up based on the mountains, but I'm just going to go with a general region guess, and I'd say it's maybe down here. But yeah, could be very wrong. There we have mountains on both sides, so let's click there. That was even further south, so makes sense in the eastern part where you have a lot of mountains. Central here is a bit flat, and then you have a few hills on the west as well. But yeah, between Portimont and Talca, it was. Actually, it was pretty much right in the middle of Temuco and Portimont. Okay, that's cool. Let's go to the next round. Well, um, we are okay. Let's go step by step because this is maybe not the easiest one to get right away. Partly because the sun looks like it's in the north. But as I said, if it's overhead, which it mostly is here, you shouldn't really pay too much attention to the sun. And this is one of those cases where you shouldn't. Um, so we are driving on the right side. You can see that there because the sign is on the right side of the road. You have a solid yellow middle line and uh, white outside lines, and you have a short number plate. So that should put us in Mexico because you can get a solid yellow middle lines in other countries, but Mexico is very, very common. Chile will very rarely have it, only in like national parks. Argentina can have it, but then it also has a white line accompanying it on the side, so it's like a yellow and white line in the middle, um, if it's a solid yellow line. Brazil can also have it sometimes, but then in Brazil you have longer number plates, so it's not Brazil. Um, Bolivia doesn't really look like this. Well, I guess I could see people thinking it looks similar, but I don't know. But Bolivia and Peru both look a bit different in my eyes. Maybe I can see Peru here, but yeah, as I said, with the solid yellow middle line, it should be Mexico. Colombia, Ecuador are reasonable guesses, but in Colombia you'll have a cross on the back of the sign and you'll have yellow plates. Ecuador is a perfectly reasonable guess here, I think. Just that this landscape you'll see more commonly in Mexico than Ecuador, because you have these sort of dry mountains, and pretty much in Ecuador the only place you'll get that is like max south. So, but yeah, they also have these short white plates, so it should be Mexico here. Um, there's maybe some other things as well, like maybe that pool, but we can't really see it too well. But yeah, should be Mexico, and with these dry sort of mountains, it's kind of hard to region guess Mexico. To be honest, I'm not that good at it. I would say it's not too far from Mexico City. Maybe from Mexico City to actually it could be more south as well. From Oaxaca to San Luis Potosi, somewhere in between. This is where I'd say. So Mexico City is actually a decent hedge. So let's see. I mean, pretty much, right? The general region was fine, but I got the wrong state. Well done if you got closer. Um, let's move on to the next round. What do we have here? Okay, so this time we are in... Oh, interesting. We have water to our west. We are in North America. Um, I mean, just looking at the houses, I think it's easy to tell. Also, this post box, very common in US and Canada. Another thing you might have here is a US flag or two. That could help. And then we have a front plate on the car. But what plate is that? I can't really tell. I'm not too good at the US plates. I still just know a few of them. Um, and then we also have this sign here that is also, I think it says 25 mph, miles per hour. So it's also a good indication for the US. But this doesn't really feel like southern US to me. I feel like this is a bit more north. And we have water west, so could it be like Michigan or something? I'm really not sure. US is still a pretty hard country for me. Does Michigan have front plates? I kind of forgot. I feel like it doesn't have front plates. Does it? Can't be New York, because New York would have a yellow plate. This doesn't look yellow. I mean, it could just be a lake, right? That's like a smaller lake. But we don't really see the edge of it. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, it could be maybe Wisconsin, like out here somewhere. Wisconsin has... Ah, dude, I forgot which ones had the front plate there. Let's try that. Oh, it was... Never mind, it was New York. Okay, so was that actually a yellow plate, or maybe it's just another plate that I don't know in New York? Like an old plate of some kind. Yeah, I don't know this plate. Maybe it's an old New York plate, or maybe it's from another state that traveled there. But in any case, well done if you got closer. I ended up with 21,274, which is okay. The US guess could have been better, otherwise, fairly reasonable scores, I'd say. And let's move on to the final game for today, and that's going to be on a new map that I really like. It's called GeoTime. It was made like very recently and it's updated today. So a lot of locations, and the concept of this map is that every location will be 10 kilometers away from another one. So that sort of puts lesser locations in small countries, more locations in big countries. Um, and then it is just interesting because you get locations in like different interesting parts of countries. So go ahead and play the challenge, and hopefully at this point you're here to watch my perspective. So let's get into this and see what we get in this seed. Oh, okay. Not an easy round to start off. I don't really know where we are. The sun looks like it's in the south, so we should be in the northern hemisphere. We have like these birch trees, very, very northern looking trees. So we should be in either the Nordics or US, Canada. But if we zoom here, we have a diamond sign, and that should put us in Canada or US, I think. Because in Norway, Sweden, and Finland, you get triangle signs instead of diamond signs. So that way we can sort of eliminate that we're not in Europe. And then I'm thinking this it's possible that this is Alaska, but I'm not sure. It might be because I've been looking at the Alaska Street View a bit recently, but it could. Um, if it's Canada, it could be somewhere else. But I kind of want to go with Alaska. It could be like just like Ontario or northern Manitoba or something as well, but I want to try Alaska here with these trees. So let's give it a shot and see how wrong we are. Let's go about there. Well then, it was Ontario. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Let's take a look at that again. Did I have any other hints apart from the trees? Not particularly, I don't think. Nah, pretty tough location, but I'm sure some of you got much closer than me. So well done. If you got Ontario there, I was very far off. But yeah, let's go on to the next round. Okay, we have this poll again. We talked about it earlier. This is a Polish poll, so automatically you know you're in Poland. You can get this sort of a long antenna in Poland. That's good to keep in mind that it is possible. And yeah, that's about it. It's just Poland, really. We just click middle again. This time, not too bad. Let's move on to the next round. Hmm. So again, the thing I mentioned about the solid white, solid yellow middle line, and white outside lines comes into play. This should be Mexico, I think. We also have the stubby antenna that you get in Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador. I can't click Ecuador and Brazil. Um, you can get a similar antenna in Cambodia, but then it will have like three. Now you see like the coil wrapping around the antenna. Here you only see it like once. In Cambodia you see it thrice. So you see it three times. It's Cambodia. And New Zealand and Hawaii have also sort of a short stubby antenna, but it also looks different. It also has like more coils going around it. Um, so yeah, we should be in Mexico, and another way to confirm it is this. This looks like this somewhat looks like a Mexican bollard. Mexican bollards do have like a cylindrical shape with black paint on the bottom and white on top, but usually the black pants are a bit further down, you know. But anyway, I think this should be Mexico. I don't know the region guess here. feels a bit more on the western side, maybe. So like Durango, Zacatecas, that sort of area potentially. But yeah, I'm still not that good at Mex. Okay, it's just it's pretty much where it says Mexico, so just middle of Mexico. Okay, good to know. Not a great game from me so far, but let's hope we can redeem ourselves. Here we should be in Greece because we have a European antenna, if you remember the antenna. We have double white middle lines, and that in Europe is in very few places. And when you combine it with these sort of southern trees, I think these are olive trees, maybe? I'm not actually sure. Maybe not. I don't know. Whatever these trees are, you get them quite often in southern Europe. And in southern Europe, the only place you'll get double white lines is Greece. So, you're in Greece. I don't really think this is an island. So I think it should just be like mainland Greece somewhere. So let's try that. I didn't think it was an island, but it clearly was. So well done if you got the island vibe there. And let's go to the final round of this game. It's really not been a great game for me, but hey, not every game can be that good, can it? Alright, this time, sun in the south, we're in the northern hemisphere. Yellow middle line, white outside line, driving on the right. Should be the US. Come on now, you see so much corn. It's gotta be the US. Um, it's very flat, so it should sort of be like the central region of US. Um, and we have a lot of corn, so I'm tempted to go Iowa. It could be like Indiana, something like this. I don't know. I want to try Iowa though. Oh, okay. How's that Colorado? I guess eastern Colorado makes sense being flat, but I don't think I've ever seen like cornfields like these. Oh, was there a bollard here? I'm not actually sure if this is a Colorado bollard, but maybe. Also, these like optic fiber thingies or whatever are very common in the US as well. Huh, well, this I still wouldn't guess Colorado here, unless maybe this is a Colorado bollard. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments if it is. But yeah, tough round, and I did not end up with a great score. I ended up with 15k, so not the strongest of starts today. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to, try out my new Japan or Indonesia knowledge in this episode. But hey, maybe next episode we'll get it. We'll see. But anyway, the play alongs are back. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next play along. Have a good week.